All right, let's see what's going on, everybody. Man, it's been a long time, and I'm sorry. It seems like the older you get, it's like you would assume that just do what I want. Yeah, right. But anyway, all right. So I've been watching this thing for a long time, and I don't do many long hauls, which was of course the apparent reason why I didn't go ahead and get it. But I was like, man, I gotta try it. Gotta at least give it a shot. So obviously, I don't have time to go from freaking Anchorage to, you know, DFW. So we just picked a little short run from El Paso to DFW, Dub, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So of course, I'm sure y'all have seen this thing 1,000 times already, but I'm sure everyone has said, "Oh, this thing's massive." Yeah, this thing's massive, but I think that kind of goes without saying. I think the zero fuel weight on this trip is like 630,000 pounds or something crazy. Some asinine number, and I think we're carrying 50. Let me check my. I've got like 54,000 pounds of fuel. Yeah, I think I'm 54,000. So I already got the flight plan semi-loaded up. Now to get this thing going, it takes a little longer than what you would, normally take in, something smaller, of course, and all the pre-flight checks. Everything just takes longer in this thing because it's, the length of a football field. These engines, I think they come off the 777, by the way, the new GE generation, whatever engine. I can't even think of them all right now. Yeah. So yeah, 4 777 engines basically. I think the thing is, it's man, that's for sure. It is a man. So all right, we'll go ahead and close these doors. Not gonna take up a whole lot of y'all's time today. Try to get going. I just looked at my stream count. Trust me, guys, all the new subs I got, man, thanks for the subs. I really do appreciate it. I wish I could bring you guys, like daily content, but people got bills. I'm sure y'all know how that goes, so we'll do the best we can and try to keep you guys up with some, with some content. Okay, so I've already exported my flight plan. I'm using, which y'all probably can't see it. Let me see if I can swap over the capture. Studio. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm using, and I used to use this all the time until SimBrief just stole the show. And hey, bud, what's going on, man? Oh, that's not gonna work. Capture Pacific one. That's not being all weird. Yeah, see that. It's all weird. Change it. Can change it back over to. See, they updated that. Should be able to transition over. Whatever. Mr. Wood, sir, how have you been? Alright, so got all of our doors shut, everything except the cargo door, which we'll leave that on for right now. So we'll fire this guy up here. So the first thing you gotta do is we're gonna import the flight plan for somewhere else, but it's got to do it different now. They've integrated a process that's a little more in line with the real world process of downloading a flight plan or flight release or whatnot. So, but it's still pretty simple, just a little more involved. And I'm just gonna make up something I don't know. Oh, there's something in there. Alright, so activate that. Alright, so we'll do, I'm sure it's probably not the exact process, but close enough. So go to downlink, pre-flight, KELP the DFW. So you just put your, excuse me, put your flight time in there, or the time in which you expect to leave. So we'll do, heck, I don't know, man. Be pretty quick. It'll be like 65, something like that. And it will probably, I don't know, probably like what, an hour or so. Heck, we'll just do 18. There's something in there. Alright, so you'll get this little notification here. Cancel sync. But it's processing. It's just kind of gotta let it do its thing for a minute. So, okay, alright. So downlink active. And you get like a little nice chime. Now I gotta find some time to learn and fly it. Man, I'm telling you, that's why I haven't really bought anything, because as soon, you know, like I'll buy it and like I don't have time. I seriously don't have it. This was one of those deals I had to like lock the door, you know, hey kids, go watch Paw Patrol or something like that. I mean, you know how it goes. But yeah, I just, you know, I love talking, you know, talking aviation and spending time, and it's just, the older you get, the less time you have, unless you're like retired or something. But unfortunately, I'm too young for that. Maybe one of these days. That I win the lottery or something. If I ever played it. Alright, so I got the route 1 uplink ready, so we'll go ahead and load that. But yeah, I've heard the 787, man, was a piece of work. They just they pushed out some updates like late last year or either early this year, and it's like 10 times more better. I mean, 10 times better. I was seriously about to say 10 times more better. Man, I'm tired. Let's see here. Yep, so performance initialization uplink, so all your performance numbers will be uploaded as well. I just gotta get the runway. Alright, so the runway of the day. Runway of the day is runway 22, and we'll just pray to the good Lord that that we don't have any issues with terrain. I don't believe we will, but I'll show you guys a awesome if you guys have already seen it, probably already seen it. Let's see, going through the flight plan real quick. Looks like we're not really flying a departure today. I think it's just direct to BDRY. Or Bravo Delta Romeo Yankee. Cool with that. Alright. Activate. Alright, so here is the downloaded performance numbers. Now we got cruise altitude of 33,000. I want to amend that. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and accept that and amend it to, yes, we know the wind data, so it imports wind data as well. We'll go ahead, 330 there for the cruise altitude. 83,000, is that right? Let me double check something real quick, ladies and gentlemen. And fuel, let's see, release fuel for, heck no, it's not. It's like twice what we need. Let's change that real quick. Fuel, I think it was like 45,000. 826. So, I mean, obviously we're going the insufficient fuel. What are you talking about, Willis? Hold on, what are final reserves? I think that's why, because our reserves aren't in something yeah, so it's basing that off of our intended reserve fuel load, so that should align itself out right there. Alrighty, so APU on. So APU, interesting tip or tidbit that I learned or found out, whatever. You can't start the APU in air. So I guess, you know, they're saying, well, you know, they got 4 bloody engines, so what are the odds of, you know, them, you know, you losing 4 engines? So yeah, you can start it on the ground, but you can't start the APU in the air. And it'll be my luck, I'll lose like everything. So yeah. Okay. So the EFB electronic flight bags. This is pretty cool. Go ahead and initialize flight there. Go to, what was it, performance, and basically copy FMC data. Copy FMC data, and so you look at the wind direction here, and it's configuration, flaps 10, AC configuration, AC on, NEI off. Now we'll go back to wind data, and then what we'll do, we'll press the little keyboard and type in 152 /3. Oh no. At 3 knots. Okay. And what's the Q and H? Is it really 29 or 2? Yeah, it's 30. Alright, so exit keyboard. Keyboard. Alright, it's a little better. So I guess I'm gonna need the keyboard again. We'll type in 30. What was that? 30 what? Oh, I can use it. Oh, that's awesome. Don't keep. Oh, that's what that's for. Gotcha. So obviously I didn't read anything. 30 decimal. Come on. 30.05. So apparently if you press external keyboard, you can utilize your actual keyboard itself, which is pretty nice. Alrighty, what's the OAT 11 degrees Celsius. Alright, keyboard. And so we'll do the rest of this. I know we're pretty heavy, so I'm probably gonna leave that set at 98%. Flaps. Today we'll probably roll flaps 10, CG 22%, puts us at 141 knots. Let's see, CG. 30%. Be mindful where your cursor is on here. It's a little. Guys, of course, it's probably to me rushing, but. Alright, so runway 22. So of course it gives us all of our data here. Sorry guys, I'm flats 142, 140. Interesting. Okay. Man, that's awesome. That's pretty. It's pretty handy. Pretty handy. So what we'll do. Uh, 142, just one digit off. Let's see, I don't know, it may not even let me do that. Oh yeah, I took it. 142, 149, flap stand, runway 22, cool. I'm not mad at the fact that it's saying, what, 94%, I'm not mad at that at all. I'd rather deal with too much thrust than too little. Hopefully that came out correctly. Alright. I'm bringing this guy up to like 330. That's off. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, I mean, even with, I mean, we're not hitting any checklist at all. We're not doing any of that. It's still a bit of a process. So if you haven't jumped on this already, I'm pretty safe to assume that I'm like the last one on the planet to like not buy this. Not cheap, but it's definitely definitely worth grabbing if you have the opportunity to. Okay, so that's done. And we'll check outside. We still got this gate gotta get rid of, or get rid of the stairs real quick. I believe that's under service vehicles, page 2, release, disconnecting. Then you can run through the checklist real quick. Most of that, you know, passenger signs. One nice thing I can appreciate is the fact that you can start two engines at the same time. Just got to make sure you have like a minimum of 2 packs on, but I just go ahead and turn them all off because I mean you're not really dealing with passengers, so I just go ahead and turn both of them off and fire up my engines there. Let's real quick. Okay. All right, so beacons set to both. What's going on, man? What's going on? How you been, bud? I don't want that. Yeah, let's bring that back up here. Anti-ice, don't need that. Auto brake, let's see. We'll hold off on that till after taxi. So what we'll do, we'll set everything up. Set our lower PFD here back to engine. Make sure seatbelt signs are on. Raining California, really? How's your trip been so far? All right, a second. I don't know. We might be able to. Oh yeah, we'll be able to pull forward. Yeah, we'll be able to pull forward. All right. So we're not going to push back at all today. We'll just really still pull through. All right, so we'll go ahead and your fuel pumps going. And you can also verify your settings there in the synoptic display. Let's see. And believe we can Auto Spring, San Francisco flight count. Really? What did it cancel for? Maintenance or what happened? And turn on all of our hydraulic pumps. This is probably nowhere near checklist, but we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. Alright, second needs to go there. So what we'll do an auto start. Weather. Oh man. Oh wow. That bad, huh? Okay. And like I said, we'll go ahead and turn off all of our air conditioning packs. And what we'll start up 2 and 3 and 1 and 4. So that's how we'll proceed. So of course you want to make sure the ramp is clear the best you can, which your ramp agent or a marshaller should verify that for you. And we'll go ahead and hit that 2 and 3 there for ignition, and then you can see them start coming up there. And go ahead and hit our fuel control valves for number 2 and 3. And right now we're just monitoring the pull up. And I'm kind of paying attention to see what's going on here, because to see this at this point we should be seeing fuel. So I'm wondering if okay, it's bringing in fuel right there. Right. And you can see 2 and 3 coming up. Exterior view. And it'll give us a notification once the auto start process is complete. Now you can start these manually, but I mean, who wants to do that, right, when you have auto start? So they're saying. So you hear a little click. So 2 and 3 are both running. Now, what I've done personally, now I don't know this is SOP or, you know, depending on the operator, I've taxied like that. Like I've gotten, you know, you can get 2 and 3 going. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll do it. It's a short run. We'll go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and start your 2 and 3. Leave 1 and 4, 1 and 4 off until you get ready to. And once you get a little closer, you can go ahead and fire them up. And then what we can do here, we can just start our number 2, number 3 air conditioning pack. And at least I'll get some fresh air blowing, so it won't be too stale in there. And I'm wondering if they pulled chocks. No, they didn't pull chocks. Alright, so now the chocks are pulled. Should have been pulled earlier, but you know. Alright, we'll set our speed 230 and contact. They were doing a what, east departure? Yeah. We're doing an east departure, and yeah, I think should be it. So let's see. All right, cool. Another cool feature that I freaking love on this thing is you press. Let's see, where's how you do it? Make sure I'm doing this correctly. I think you zoom in. I don't know if it's, there we go. Zoom in. And you got a little airport map there. You can also jump over here into your electronic flight bag. Go to menu, terminal charts. Yep, and use airports and FMS, of course. Complete. And this should give us a overview. So runway 22. The only thing it doesn't do, it doesn't like place your aircraft on the map in reference to, you know, where you're at. So yeah, runway 22 is way the heck over there. Alright, so make sure everything's clear, good to go. Alright, and now I'm going to turn on that progressive taxi. Alright, go ahead and bring up 2 and 3. And of course, you know, you have to keep in mind that even though it's a 747, it's still an airplane, flies by all the same principles. You just got more airplane around you. So that also applies for taxiing as well. And you can actually blow up your view. Oh shoot, T2's right there, wasn't even paying attention. Yeah. Alright, so we can turn off progressive taxi. And like I said, you know, honestly what you can do at this point, you know you're about to be heading out, so we can go ahead and kill those packs. And of course you have a first officer helping you out with this. Go ahead and turn on that number 1 and number 2. So you can also see number 1, number 2 coming up. That will probably take, what is that? Romeo to, I'd say Kilo, taxiway Kilo, and should put us in a good position for runway 22, and you can hear engines 1 and 4 coming up. Okay, so I think the nose gear is roughly like 20 something feet behind you, so I'm gonna try to account for that the best you can. Of course, you're in the sim, so not gonna be 100% accurate, but should be close enough. Let's see. And you want to try to get the center line about right. If you look at your MFD there, keep it about right there. I want to say you're somewhat in the neighborhood of center line. There you go. You're like right on it. So as long as you stay around there, you're pretty good and not do what I just did. So flaps 10, right? Flaps 10, we'll go ahead and get our flaps in there. That lever moving, get flaps 10 there. It takes a little while on the 747. So, see them Let's see them start to come down a little bit. Right now, you see we're taxiing about 16, 17 knots. We'll go ahead and come out of it just a little bit. So I mean, as you can see, even with two engines, you know, and I think, like I said, 630 something thousand pounds or fuel weight. She's moving, you know. I mean, literally, I could not. I mean, right now I have the engines in idle, and I'm having to apply brakes. That's so much. That's how much. Even in idle, these engines still produce thrust, right? So, let's see if I can do this. Man, this is weird. Probably not a runway you'd want to take in real life. I don't even think they even come to. I mean, unless it's like a special mission or something like that. So what we'll do. Make this turn come out a little bit. You can see the steering tiller here to steer the nose wheel. You'll come out a little bit. All right, go ahead and start my turn right there. Go ahead and get out of the engines and see if I can. About, that's close enough. I'll take that. That's close enough. All right, so right now, go ahead and get ready for takeoff. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and pull up our little checklist here. So auto brake set for rejected takeoff. So if we do, in the event we do have to do like a V1 cut or something like that, the brakes will automatically apply. Flight controls, we did not check those. So what we'll do, we'll just do a quick flight control check. So forward, test the elevator, ailerons to the left, back, right ailerons, forward. Make sure we got that down action and we're good right there. Trim should be set at a 6. So our elevator trim is trimmed up for 6 right now. So we'll go here, back to our checklist. That's good. Ground equipment clear. That was before taxi checklist, so we're a little late, but that's okay. Before takeoff, we're at flaps 10 degrees, so flaps are set to 10 degrees. It's good right there. After takeoff, we'll get here. We'll get to that point shortly. So, of course, now we got to set up our autopilot. We'll set up for, what was that? What was that? VT 165. 65 right there. Flight directors on both sides. Lateral navigation, vertical navigation. I'll call you back. Let's see. I think that is it. Alright, so takeoff process. We'll go ahead and brief takeoff. We'll take off on runway 22. Give us a good 12,000 foot of runway to play with. We'll come with 40%, let the engines line out. Release the brake, and V1 will be 142, or rotate at 149 knots. V2 will be 165. Winds are coming out the south at 10 knots. Alright, so that's the takeoff briefing. We're done with this portion here, so what we'll do, we'll go back to our regular scheduled programming, and we'll also turn on our weather radar. That's set, everything's good, everybody's tied down. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and contact tower, let them know we're ready. Turn our lights here. Turn those packs back on. APU off. Alright, so we've got our takeoff clearance, so we'll go ahead and take the active. Want to make sure the final is clear the best you can. Make sure the runway is clear and you have clearance received, so we'll go ahead and come up with it. It's going to be a little awkward trying to get on 2-2. Alright, that's our ROS reminding us that we are coming on 2-2. So we got 12,000 foot in runway, so I'm not too terribly concerned about trying to, but I do want to try to get lined up as best I can.
On runway 22.
Alright, so alright, brakes set, TCAS, we'll go ahead and turn that on, landing lights on, strobe lights on, everything looks good. No ECAS alerts, all brakes RTO, and cool. So we'll go ahead and start our clock. And let's go. So we'll come up 40% right there, and then we'll hit that toggle button. Alright, so we'll come up to about 40%. Let them stabilize. And we'll go ahead and hit that toggle button there. Alright, takeoff power set, engine instruments and limits. Yep, got the airspeed alive. We'll nose down there to keep nose wheel authority till we get above 100 knots, and then we'll check, and then we'll ease off at 100 knots. Alright, switching to the rudder.
Rotate.
2 degrees a second.
V2. Positive rate of climb.
You're up. Alright, looks like we're tracking LNAV there. Go ahead and make that left turn. Alright, we'll try to get cleaned up here. Come up flats 5. And do not let the size fool you. She's quick. She is quick. Right now we're coming up about 2,000 a minute. Getting myself trimmed out there. And right now we're at flats 5, 109 knots, so we'll hold right there until we finish this turn. And as soon as Johnny flies the bloody flight director there. There we go. Alright, want to try to maintain both vertical and horizontal coordination with your flight director, which is that's that little blue X there that you guys see. Okay. Coming up to about 204 knots now. Gonna be a little bumpy. Flying the flight director there. Alright, so we'll go to our flight management display. And let's see here. I think it's Gen. Actually, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and let Auto take over there. So Auto has the controls now. While he's doing that, let's see here. Let's see. Alright, Gen 1. That's not the arrival I want to fly. Gen 1. Let's see here. Weather. Okay, so probably. Let's see, 17 right. Gen 1. And ink. Transition. Transition. Done. Actually, we'll go direct to fields. There we go. We'll go ahead and come up flaps 1. And about 10,000 feet, landing lights off. Alright, so just be forewarned, when you do import your flight plan, double check and make sure all the legs are there. Probably should have did it anyway, but yeah. So we're going direct fields, flight level 330. Bring that over there. So basically it will be literally direct fields and starting our downwind leg there and base to final. I put the seatbelt signs auto. Clear out this checklist item. Alright, so after takeoff checklist complete. Jump over here. Make sure all of our everything's in order, which I mean for the most part it is, and if it's not, normally she'll let you know right here. So what we can do here, we can go to the RTE data, which is our route data, our flight management computer. We'll jump over here and we can load all of our wind information. Then we can go to our VNAV, go to our forecast for our descent, load that update, that weather update, which will give us all of our wind directions and speeds and valid uplink. Okay. Which I think the reason being is you have to create the flight plan or either import the flight plan in the active sky, which should give you all of your weather data if I'm not mistaken. Or if I am mistaken, please let me know in the chat. Because honestly, I literally bought this thing yesterday and flying it today, so excuse me. Alright, so coming up 17,000. about 3,000 feet per minute. Exterior view there. If there were windows, a bit of a window view. Haven't cycled through the other ones yet. And yes, there is wing flex. I'm not sure if you guys can. There we go. Little flexing action there. So I mean, gorgeous model. Gorgeous model. And of course we transition altitudes 180, which will set that to standard barometric pressure 299.2 on the altimeter. And also what you can do here, go center, gives you like a vertical situation display, so you can see, you know, our planned altitude is flight level 330, and I believe gives you terrain information, I think, if I'm mistaken. So, like I said, gives you, I mean, it's a huge update from the Dash 400. This is the, especially those of you who aren't familiar, this is the 747-800. 747-400 was the earlier version. Honestly, you're not seeing a lot of these guys flying anymore. Most of them that you see now are box haulers, so they haul freight. UPS runs them. You also have a lot of others. You got Atlas. Who else? Atlas Air. I think Kalita still runs the Dash 400s, I think. So the Dash 800 is like an update. It took a lot of the technologies from the 777 and brought it on over to the 747, and I mean, it's a much welcomed addition. Electronic flight bags on both sides. I mean, foot and shoulder heaters. I mean, a lot of this gear you're definitely not going to find on a 172, you know. So I mean, she's definitely built for those long 7,000, 8,000 mile legs, and you know, while keeping the crew in relative comfort. But like I said, you're just not seeing these things much anymore. You know, especially now with the 777, you know, the 787. I think it's capable of the same distance. I think I honestly haven't really looked at the performance numbers in a while, but I want to say it's capable of the same, if not close to the same distance as the 747. I mean, even the A380, I think Airbus finally realized, just like, you know, this is not working out, and finally stopped production. Unfortunately, stopped production of, you know, the A380. You know, even though that was, I mean, historical. You know what they were able, you know, to accomplish, you know, from an engineering standpoint. But you know, I think a lot of the operators are finding that, you know, it's a little costly to operate, and the practicality with all the other competition is, you know, not really there. You know, it's becoming less and less conducive to operators. So I mean, I'm sure we'll still see the 747 747, you know, it's a cargo carrier for years to come, but even I think now, I think a lot of the passenger operators have starting to phase them out. I think the 747 just made 50 years old, 50 years of age, so happy birthday to the 74. But yeah, I think it's becoming an end of an era for anything over 2 engines. You know, I mean, anything over 2 engines, honestly, it's just, you know, they're just not wanting to run them. Yeah, I think as of right now, they're just not wanting to. They're not seeing the cost benefits in comparison to, you know, why not run this 777? You know, 777-300. You know, you got the 787, 757 still hanging in there. A321, I think, and making intercontinental trips. I believe. I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken, I believe so. You know, A350. So I mean, you got options, you know, and the majority, or what, 90% of those options are what, one engine. You know, I mean, these things are. I mean, I'm willing to go as far to say as, you know, to say if you lost 2 of those engines, now, I mean, of course, hoping and praying they're not on the same wing, they're not on the same side. I mean, you'll have to trim the crap out of it, but I mean, I think you'll still be. You'll still fly, but I mean, if you lost an engine on one side, engine on the other, I think you'll still be looking pretty good. Yo, what's going on, man? As you can see, I had to upgrade. Whoop. There we go. I mean, you can even look. Let's see. I mean, as far as even the flight deck, you got a pretty good bit of room. I mean, stand up. I think some of them are even equipped with a lavatory in the back. No oxygen for, you know, each occupant on the flight deck. So then I think sleeping quarters in the back, I'm sure, on some of them. So definitely a nice setup. But this electronic flight bag is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Speaking of which, let's see. So I think go back to the main menu. Then that one looks old, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little bit of an older design, but what they did, they took a lot of the new stuff from like the newer airplanes and threw it in here. So like if you type in 747-400, you're not going to get the electronic flight bag. It's just, I think it's like a little suitcase holder or something like that. But unless they've been retrofitted, you're not going to get the electronic flight bag, especially on both sides. Some of the technologies that are built in, such as the vertical situation display, are not on the 400. The engines, they come off the 777, so better engines, much more powerful engines. So like I said, pretty much, you know, like what was awesome on the 777, you know, this and this and this and this, and so they took that, threw it in the 747-400, did some things with the fuselage, and threw a -800 at the end of it. So this is a 747-800. But I mean, like, look at the ground speed. So we're right now about 570 knots. You know you got to round up, right? You know, so 570 knots. Of course, we got a 90 knot tailwind. So I mean, we're booking it right now. Mach, run at Mach 0.83. You know, the speed of sound's Mach 1. We're at 0.83, and I mean, plenty of room to spare. I mean, I think we can do 8.5, and you know, wouldn't break and not break sweat. So like right now, our engines are right around 84%. So I mean, they can do quite a bit more. Quite a bit more. Right now, we can jump to our fuel. Oh, it disappeared. There we go. Jump to our fuel. So we got 7,000, 7,500 this tank, 6,900 this tank, 7,000 this tank. So right now we're at about 29,000. And so you can go to our progress page on our flight management computer, and we should land with about 16,000 in the tanks. So not too terribly bad. And of course, if we're running like a you know, 7,000-8,000 mile leg or trip or whatever, of course we'll be using our reserve tanks here. Our center tanks are even empty. So I mean, like a 400 mile, 500 mile trips in 747. I mean, it's almost a waste of money, honestly, unless it's a special, you know, like, of course, you know, like I said, this is a freight hauler. So unless it's like a special mission, I'm pretty sure someone paid a butt ton of money for. I mean, 500 mile legs, you know, on the 747, you're losing money. Now in Japan, years ago, like back in the 80s, early 90s, they had a passenger version of the 747-400 that was built for high density routes, so a lot of people, and on these 300-400 mile legs, and I think those aircraft held close to 500 people, 500 souls on board. So just imagine Spirit Airlines. If Spirit Airlines owned a 747, it would probably be like a high density version. So I mean, you're packed in there, needless to say. But even those are gone now. I think they're running high density 777s nowadays. Even then, I could be wrong. I mean, it's just not economical to run 4 engines nowadays. I mean, with the advances in technology and things like that, I mean, it's just, no, it seems as if it's becoming less economical now. So that's not to say that I had a little bit of a wind change there, but no, that's not to say it, you know, it may not return to a, you know, a market, you know, supporting 4-engine aircraft, but as of right now, you know, there's really no point. Really no point. Go back here in the performance page. So weight and balance. You can do your weight and balance calculations there. Look at your max landing weight, max zero fuel weight, and sets you up. I mean, makes you a really nice chart to be able to work with. So you can read the data from the aircraft, that as the current load from the aircraft, and it parses it into here and gives you, gives you accurate numbers. Or you can take these numbers and send it to aircraft. So I mean, this thing's really handy. Pilot utilities, you can go here, and they have a simple calculator. If you're having one of those days where you can't process 5 times 5, you know, guess what? Fire up the old 757. I mean 747, and do calculations for you. Let's see. We go back here. Timer, stopwatch, scratch pad, fuel weight conversions, speed conversions. So I don't know. Let's see. What's our ground speed? 570 knots. 570. And run that as miles an hour. So 655 miles an hour is currently what we're doing. So. I mean, so you can only imagine. I mean, if the winds are still somewhat consistent with what we're getting now, over the Atlantic, you know, going from west to east, you're bucking it. You know, you're doing pretty good. Doing really good, actually. So clear that fill, go back. Weight conversions, temperature conversions. I mean, you name it. No, she'll do it. Documents. They even threw the introduction manual into the flight bag, so you can go through the manual there. Talks about this is basically PMDG's manual. I don't think they can really do that to the actual Boeing manual because of copyrights and all that fun stuff. But if you have them difficulties like with the FMC, like the little issue we've had, because now we're wondering like, okay, like why are we still 190 knots above 10,000 feet kind of deal. You can come over here and it discuss the process of, you know, loading flight plans, loading, gives you the manual there, and you can use them. Right now I'm using my mouse wheel to scroll actually, you know, scroll through the documentation. It talks about the airport map that we played with earlier. AFB customization, apparently you can customize the AFB. I think you can add like more documents. Pretty nice, so you know, you might be able to throw like a little help manual in there or something. You have the AFB manual. Terminal charts, you know, we saw that earlier, played with it a little bit for El Paso. So you can go back here. There, they should have DFWs. Let's search. Let's search KDFW. It should already be listed there, but there we go. Alright, so chart types. These are the different approaches you can fly. Gates and coordinates. Now, mind you, I believe you have to have the Navigraph subscription for this to work, because when I first went into this, it came up with my sign in for Navigraph. So what you do is you enter your sign in, and then it automatically loads everything from Navigraph. So it's super simple to do. So we even have some taxi routes just for the 747-800. And so we can use this to zoom in. So come in on 18 left, 18 right. Or 747-800F only. Which would mean we probably need to change our runways here. So yeah, you can review the taxi routing. even more taxi routes for the A380, low visibility taxi routes. I mean, just gobs of information. Let's go back here. So what I want to do, I want to preview, see how this is going to work out for us. Pretty much the same deal. Pretty much the same deal. And then, of course, if we had different traffic, you'd probably have some inbound traffic from the north. So they'll probably bring us out a little bit, and then turn us and work us into that flow. I mean, being that, you know, really no traffic. I actually have traffic turned off. We can just kind of, you know, right there. So, no harm done with that. And let's see, about 160 miles from our descent point. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, you know, nothing terribly complicated. The anti-ice systems on the Dash 800, I believe, have the capability of, you know, as you can see, running in auto, so it'll automatically come on there if need be. Fuel management's not terribly bad. What you can do is, you know, of course you have your little synoptic display up here, but you can pull up your fuel display, and, you know, if you have to open up your bleeds, your cross feeds, see them opening up there. So, I mean, I think if it's not properly configured, it gives you an annunciation. But, I mean, being that there's really nothing to cross feed to. Yeah, there's not. It'll get a little pressure light there, so you can turn that off. I really don't need those, so. But yeah, as you can see, you can pull from tank 1, which right now we'll be pulling from pretty much all the engines. Will be pulling from all the tanks. That gives you a fuel configuration alarm there. So what we'll do, we'll just turn off those cross feeds, and it should go away here. There we go. And then roll over here to the electrical display. Of course, these four little blocks here, these are your engine-driven generators. You can also take input from external power source 1, number 2, APU 1, number 2 as well. This will be your environmental control, lower recirc, trim air, pressure's it. But yeah, gives you all your temperature readouts, flight deck. Let's see, upper deck, and yeah. So, so I was like, wait a minute, what? So flight deck, upper deck, and crew rest quarters be towards the back of the upper deck. I think kind of where this guy slopes is where you'll start getting like the sleeping quarters and things like that. There should be some seats up here for standby crews, but like I think all your sleeping quarters are over back. And if you can look, we disengaged something. I think we did. So I'll probably disconnect. Press that. We're good. I was actually gonna show you guys. You know, I'm sure everyone's familiar with like Midland and what Midland, Texas is known for. You know, oil and gas and things like that. Yeah, if you look down, they actually did a pretty good job. You can actually see little well sites or well pads down there. So it's no idea where that came from, but I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, let's see. So yeah, so flight deck, upper deck, crew rest, your forward main cabin, which is under where actual, you know, that the majority of your cargo will reside. Right now it's 63 degrees, and what we can do, let's see if it's a little easier to do it this way. What we can do, you can actually bump up, bring that temperature. So like say for example, if you're transporting, you know, I remember hearing stories of them transporting like horses, like race horses and things like that, you can actually bring up that temperature to a much more pleasant temperature than, you know, 63 degrees. Lower lobe temp. Whoops. And I want to say. On a mouse wheel. There we go. And let's crank that right there. There we go. So come down here, you can actually see here to the temperature coming up there. 75. Be a bit too warm. I can bring this down for 72, and of course, you know, it'll make the changes, you know, with the packs and everything, and with your air conditioning system, it'll bring that temperature down there. As you can see, it's starting to come down there. But you know, of course, it depends on the cargo you're transporting, right? So if you got, you know, freaking 200,000 pounds of, you know, fresh tuna from Japan or something like that, you know, you'd obviously want to keep it kind of chilly in there, right? So you'd bring the temperature down to, you know, 50 whatever. You know, you just have to be mindful that when your load master likes to walk down there to double check the load in the main deck, you know, he'd want to wear a jacket or something, because it'd be a little chilly. Oh shoot, ground speed came up. So right now it's coming almost out of the west at 802 knots. So if you happen to have a flight going from west to east today, you're going to get there in a hurry. And it's like we're just 37 minutes into the flight, and should be starting a descent here, heck, pretty shortly. Yeah, 85 miles, we'll be starting to descend here in a couple minutes. So yeah, I mean, loads of technology on this thing, and if you do decide to purchase it, you know, if you want to make that flight from Japan to Anchorage or Japan to Dallas or wherever, you know, they do have a feature called time compression, right? So, I believe you can go. I honestly don't really use it, but you can change the simulation rate. Well, on some aircraft, if you change the simulation rate, it kind of course, it speeds time up, right? So, but not all aircraft that you purchase works very well with that. So, what PMDG has done for us, they've If I pull it up on this FMC here, you can go to what's called under auto cruise. Yeah, so you can go under auto cruise, auto step climb. So basically what that is, you know, especially on that, you know, flight from Dallas to Perth, Australia, for example. I mean, you're carrying a lot of fuel. I mean, tons of fuel. So with that being said, okay. So with that being said, I mean, you just can't go from, you know, ground level to 41,000 feet or 40,000 feet, you know, just, you know, as we did on a full fuel and a full passenger or cargo load, right? So what you do is you set up step climb. So you might come up to 32,000 feet, fly for, you know, several hours, burn off fuel, you're a little lighter, okay, come up to 37,000 feet. Burn a little more fuel. Okay, then you once you reach your final altitude of your optimum cruise altitude, whatever that may be, 40,000, 41,000, 39, whatever, then that's your, you know, your final cruise altitude. So you'll set up your flight plan accordingly, set everything up, and if once this is enabled, it'll automatically take care of the step climbs for you. So it's pretty nice. The next one here comes in super handy, especially if you run things in real time. So let's say you set up like an 8-hour flight before you go to bed, and then, you know, you wake up or you oversleep, right? And you're like, oh shoot, you know, I've blown past my descent point. Now you're somewhere in the middle of Russia. Well, I'll make that turn. So you set this up here and pause at top of descent. Once it gets to that descent point, it'll pause. And, you know, come in, oh shoot, woke up, whatever, late. Come in and, you know, unpause it, you know, and continue your descent and landing. Easy peasy. Now this here, auto tank and engine condition. So you can set this up. And basically it automatically controls your fuel pump. So like we were looking at before, you know, a lot of times as your tanks become empty, you'll get like a little pressure light. Well, let's see if we can come up here. You'll get that, basically saying that, you know, there's not enough pressure for, you know, the pump to. Not enough fluid to create enough pressure for the pump to pump. Anyway, so, you know, you don't want to just leave that on, right? So, you know, you'll turn them off. You may have to open your cross feeds, move fuel from, you know, one end to the other, whatever you need to do. That setting there handles all of that for you. Pretty nice. And there's also a setting called auto time compression. So I don't know, I haven't really looked into it fully, but basically it automatically controls time compression. So that 8,000 mile trip doesn't exactly take 17 hours. You might be able to cut that in half, or you might be able to cut that, I don't even know how to run this. I mean, so you can go up to 16x. So, I mean, you may be able to make a 3,000 mile trip in an hour, you know. So, or whatever it may be. So yeah, super. So they made this for people like us, right? You know, people like, you know, are really anybody who doesn't have a whole lot of time to, you know, to make those 10 plus hour trips or 8+ hours, you know. So they created that for us, which, you know, hats off to PMDG for that, because you know, they just made their aircraft much more of a palatable purchase to come off of. What I think I spent close to $200 for the Dash 700. I mean the Dash 400 and Dash, because you have to have the Dash 400 to have the Dash 800, so you have to get both. So it came out to be like $200 some odd dollars. So they made that purchase much more palatable, or yeah. You know, for people who don't have a giant, ginormous amounts of time, which heck, I would say all of us. I mean, just packed full of features. Of course, you can set your fuel payload, control all of your ground services. Go here, aircraft equipment. These are, so let's say if we were an airline and we were going to purchase a 747-800, these would be some of the settings that would have the capability of choosing some of the options, just like options in the car. Bank angle call outs. Just got a notification on our flight management computer. Reset MCP altitude. Alright, so we'll bring that down. We'll bring that down about 4,000. We're getting really close to our top of descent. So we can keep up. Keep rolling through this real quick here. So yeah, just different call outs, flare tones, pre-flight uplinks, which we use, thrust limits. Now basically how the flight management computer handles, the different climb settings, different thrust settings, like that. Quiet climb option. Pretty nice. Weight balance system. You can go between dual, none, single, dual, whatever. ADF installed. So the ADF is the automatic direction finder for those NDB approaches. I mean, unless you're going to like a country that still utilizes those heavily, it's like, I think if you say yes, there's your ADF there. No, got your in-op stickers. Headrest, so you can add or remove the headrest. Actually, it's a little better actually. Yeah. Flight test package, antennas, which I think this is somewhere on, I think it's that guy there. Not sure. There's our descent, so alrighty, so SATCOM, emergency locator transmitter, that. Pat flow econ mode, meh, not really need that. EFB installed, yes or no, so if you hit no, of course this goes away. Let's see. Minimums, baro, yeah. For your altimeter setting there. Barometer knobs. Rotary, slow, fast, whatever. Let's see. Resub wall, siren. So autopilot disconnect scheme, so you can set this for that for one press, 2 presses. I normally set it for 2 because I have a 3-year-old and he likes to press buttons, and yeah, so as you can see it's a little bumpy, but you gotta think, we're dealing with some pretty gnarly wind, so got the wing flex there. Vibration from the engines, also modeled as well. And yes, they do flex that much. You hear them coming up a little bit. It's massive engines. Man, those things are big. So yeah, we're now this motion that you're seeing is tunable, so you can adjust that. So you're not just stuck with getting the bejesus, you know, vibrate out of you. Man, that all right. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Crew alertness, so you know, if you fall asleep, the thing will make a sound. Kind of like how what they have in trains, same technology they have in trains. ROS installed, so runway alert avoidance system, something like that. Which you'll hear it as we're on approach. Yeah, then you got some more display options here. Tons of options. So, alright, we're starting our descent into DFW. That was Fort Worth. So we'll set this to check this real quick. And go through our descent checklist. So, a recall check, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken. All of that. Recall is clear. Auto brake, we'll set that up for. We'll go ahead and set that up. Landing data. We'll come here. 152. So let's see here. Let's check our, what we can do, we'll check our weather information, see if the wind's really coming up. Weather. Alright, 200 at 16. We'll go ahead and run flaps starting 149. Then again, we got like 13,000. Roll down this. Me personally, I'll go ahead and tell you guys my thinking on this. Me personally, I would much rather come with land with less energy than yeah, we'll do that. You know, less energy you're landing with, the better. Now, passenger comfort. Now, when you bring down the flaps or increase the flaps that low, I mean you're going to slow. You're going to slow down quite a bit, so your engine's going to come up. You know, maybe a little more jolting or whatnot. So it's kind of uncomfortable for the passengers. But I mean, if you're hauling boxes, I mean, who's going to complain, right? So, you know, you always want to err on the side of caution, especially if you don't have, you know, SOP. You know, a lot of companies will run a SOP depending on certain conditions, dictate whether or not you can or can't use, you know, flaps 30 or whatever the final, you know, whatever the most extended, you know, flap setting is for a particular aircraft. You also have to look at the approach as well to see if, you know, that particular approach speed will put you out of a certain category for that particular approach that you're flying. Tons of things you gotta look at. You know, really do this game like, I see enemy in my ammo, I can't really do that. So just you know, just wanna keep that, you know, in the back of your mind there. Landing checklist, we'll do that a little later. So this part here is gonna get a little busy. Not too terribly busy. I mean, really, we're gonna fly this as published, so you know, it won't be too bad. Excuse me. Kind of zooming in. That's cool. So, but we do know we're going to be runaway one. So these are all our arrivals. The ILS, I think it was runaway 18 right. Converging. Alright, so our navs. Up. Okay, here we go. So this kind of gives us an overview of what we'll be dealing with there, so you can put this. So basically, that matches up with what we're going to be flying. So we know our ATIS for that particular arrival is going to be 123.7 if we need to in the ATIS. We should be talking to regional approach at 118.42. DFW tower. Then ground there, depending on if you're coming in on the east and west. The localizer is going to be 111.9. So what you can do, which this is all coming off a database, right? So I think you can go to your NavRad and double check to make sure this matches up with what you're going to be flying. 101.90, 101.90. Once the approach course or the heading that we'll be flying is going to be 176. So we'll know. So we know that our radios are going to be tuned appropriately. So what we can do here, you can set up your decision altitude for 807 feet. So we'll do that. And we're below transition altitude. Don't work with my mouse wheel. Alright, so what we can do hold on here, go high on flare. That's an action available. See here. Alright, let's see. Alright, much better. $107. Okay. Alright, so we can kind of see where we're at now in reference to our flight plan. So we're about to be getting close to Delmo. I'm going to make a left turn. There's Dallas Fort Worth here at 12 o'clock. And keep it in mind, if your flight limits are really high on this airplane, so you know, if you gotta drop some flaps, do not be scared. Drop flaps, whatever you need to do to keep your airplane in a safe condition. Alright, coming out at 12,000 feet. And check our Lex page, and that way you can verify your speeds, make sure all your speeds line up. Coming over to Dallas at the moment. I believe that's want to say I want to say that's Louisville Lake, either Louisville Lake or Ray Roberts. Oh, it may be Grapevine Lake. Yeah, maybe Grapevine. I think off to like, yeah, one of those. Alright, so we're about to be going below 10,000 feet, so we'll keep a sterile flight deck here. Just FYI, it does take about 18 seconds for the gear to come down, so just make sure you plan for that in your approach. Or it might be a little earlier. It might be a little later than that. It's either, I want to see, I don't know why, either 18 or 36 kind of sticks out to me. So, one of those.
Approaching. 1-8. Right.
Okay. Winds pretty choppy today. And watching the coast runway environment there. pretty good. Well, all right, rudder.
Wide slope. Wide slope. Wide 50. 30. 20. 10.
All right. Like right there at the cargo ramp, I think. And quick glance at the landing gear. Yeah, I want to say it's like either 18 seconds for the gear to completely drop or something like that. It takes a while. Let's give you a heads up. So just make sure you plan for that. Don't wait till the last minute and, oh crap, I gotta drop the gear. Looks like their temps are starting to come down there. APU is indeed running. No idea where to park, so we're just gonna kind of make our own parking spot. Yeah, overshot that quite a bit, and I was a little harder on my brakes than I wanted to be. Since we have nobody to park us. And I think the landing gear also pivots as well. Unless they changed it, I don't know. They changed it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's an option or not, I don't know. I want to say at some point the main gear used to pivot. Right. And what we'll do, we'll go ahead and actions, shots, then go request that. Service vehicles. And request that. Double check everything, make sure everything is I'm not worried about packs at this point. And we'll head to our door panel. And yes, the engines are off, but you know, of course, with the wind, they will free spin. All right, there's the door there. Dropped us off our power cart, and we'll come off of our APU to external power. Don't need that guy, and call it good. Alright guys, that is it for me. Oh man, I'll try to get you guys some more content as soon as I possibly can. But once again, from new subscribers, thank you so much for your subscription. It does mean a lot. At some point, I'd like to do a charity stream. I'll get more information on that a little later, but until then, guys have a awesome rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you later.